Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 16, another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So as ever, let's crack on. For what we do, obviously, if you'd like some innovation, some consultancy about innovation, probably some workshops about innovation, it's what I do. Love all this stuff. So look me up on LinkedIn and get in touch. First one is Zach Friedman, who has an amazing video about 3D printing and mischief with 3D printers. Obviously I have one and I like mischief, so this is perfect. You can do things like stop your print halfway along, drop things in, seal them in. You can 3D print onto t-shirts by squishing the plastic into the print itself. You can put it on different things. You can put stuff in your 3D print, smash them open. You can print onto gauze. This is fascinating. You can actually print onto holograms and it will then actually imprint the hologram into the 3D print. You can put for instance, a squishy thing into your 3D print, stop it, and then, as you see, insert it and then let it carry on, and you can get these kind of hybrid, hard, squishy bangle bracelet things. So that's fascinating. Love all of that. So if you have a 3D printer and you haven't got up to this mischief yet, then I implore you to stop this right now, watch that video and print some weird things. Now this is all about plastic as well, coincidentally. This is bio-vinyl. If you weren't aware, then vinyl, as in the music records, sales are up 11.8% on 2023. So that's the highest it's been since 1990. So it's definitely a resurgence. Obviously we don't want more plastic in the world. So bio-vinyl is a thing. If you are part of this physical media music resurgence, should we call it, then you should check whether you have an ISCC certified vinyl. Now that basically means, and I like the pun, that it's a circular recyclable thing here, which is 100% recycle. All of the materials, for instance, the supply chain, the electricity, that sort of thing is recyclable. So no new oil needs to be mined to make these products, which is excellent. So if you are part of this revolution, well done. Thank you very much to Mandy for this one as well. And also I did look up Deep Grooves, so thank you to Deep Grooves for these images here, but also that's in Leeuwarden, which is in north of the Netherlands. You know that yop. If you've been wondering what's going on with Atlas the robot, which is the Boston Dynamics, usually the yellow robot that can do backflips and jump off stuff and do all sorts of weird, excellent things. It's been a bit quiet of late. It's because they've been coming up with the new version. So this is kind of version 3 almost. The big difference in this one, other than this really creepy video, is that it uses electrical or electronic actuators. So the other one used hydraulics, so liquids and stuff like that to move the limbs. This is a direct electrical motors to the limbs. So it can do these really funky things like, 360 reversible limbs. It has this kind of weird head, which actually has the cameras and sensors in it by the looks of it. As it comes up close to the camera, you can start to see the glint of the cameras. This is all we have, by the way. So this is just a teaser video. So there is more to come, but it does look incredibly weird. There's some really nice scratches on it as well, so it's obviously had a few falls here and there, but there you go. Quite what this is going to do to the world. Boston Dynamics are leading in this field, so this might be taking manual labor, or this might become the robot on the building site next to you quite soon. But there you go, Boston Dynamics. This is YouTube. I don't know the first name of the YouTuber, by the way, sorry about that, but this is Adam, which is a YouTuber, has visualized Wikipedia. It took a huge amount of time, huge amount of patience and also processor power, but has found some really interesting things. There are broadly 44 communities or topics on Wikipedia. Here are some of them here, for instance, and they are all clustered based on their connections and their interests, for instance, and that's how those 44 have self-identified themselves. It's not going looking for them, it's just you can see them from actually where they're located within this cloud. As I say, there are certain things that it's all about the connections. If you look at, for instance, World War I and World War II, you'll notice they're very similar in the same area. And these are things called dead ends and orphans as well. I'm skimming through here all the science. Definitely go and watch the video. There's a lot of detail in it, but there was a thing called Fanta Cake, which is a page on its own with only links to the page that refers to itself. So these really weird orphan pages. Now, obviously you can go in there and edit those and you can unorphan them, but it's really interesting just some of the things that have been found just by visualizing it. So there you go, really interesting way. I have a background in information design, so this pleases me, well done. Adobe have been putting AI in their products for a while with their Creative Suite, and Premiere Pro has now got the full beans, or at least it's got a really big update with AI. You can do things like add objects, as you can see, and it actually works it within the video. So it's not just like before where you could kind of comp in an image. It now will do things like remove things, it will add things to your video, and it can do a great thing called generative extend. So if you have a clip and you need a little bit more video to the end just to sort of make the scene make sense or linger on a face or something like that, it can now generate those clips itself. So obviously that chap just had a tie that appeared, and it can do things like auto ducking as well. Here you go, this is a generative sort of time extender. It can also do things like auto ducking. So when you have music and speech and it needs to sort of duck the music out so that the speech can be heard, it can do that automatically. It can do scene detection and text to speech. So it's got all the good things, and you can also use different models as well. So if you'd like to go to a different generative model by another company, it allows you to do that as well. Midjourney, for instance, for video and images, as you're seeing right now. So there you go. If you've got a Premiere Pro, look out for that one. This is going to start costing a huge amount of money in your license. But there you go. Interesting. This is really hopeful. I like this one. This is a nano generator. Now this actually eats CO2 to generate electricity, which I think is amazing. So this is carbon negative, not carbon neutral. This is carbon negative. So it uses, let's say, a gel. There's a special gel that the industry is using to sort of suck CO2 out of the atmosphere. And the boron nitrite, I did actually read the paper, by the way, but the easiest version is the boron nitrite ions that are created can be made to be different sizes, and the bigger ones travel slower, the smaller ones travel faster, and that creates a difference between the two, and there's a potential difference, which is electricity. So very early days, very small amounts of electricity, but you can imagine in the future on an industrial scale, sucking CO2 out of the atmosphere to generate electricity. Whether you need to renew the gel or something or other, I'm not really sure. And maybe in the future where your mobile phone or your wearable device, you need to get a small sort of gel injection into it to suck out the CO2 and power it. But really interesting, early days, great. I probably don't need to go and watch the video because you've pretty seen it, but fascinating. And finally, we have Eve, which is a Centuries security camera with a paintball gun in it, which is on Kickstarter. Now, whether this is legal where you live, I highly doubt it, especially if you're about to shoot somebody in the face without protection, for instance. But there you go. The video, there's a longer video, by the way, a theatrical video, which is worth watching because it's just hilarious. But you control it with your phone. There are 3 versions of it, and I just like the idea that the lowest version doesn't have pet detection on it. So if you do have a pet, then it's going to get paintballed in the garden. However, if you do spend a little bit more money, you can get the one that will avoid shooting your dog, cat, or whatever you've got, which I think is just bonkers. But there you go. As I say, probably illegal where you live, but interesting. Support it on Kickstarter. I don't think it's been made yet, but there you go, it's the whole point. If you found that interesting, give it a like, share it with somebody awesome, and I will see you next week.